Joining us now, Republican Congressman Mark Harris, who you heard from a moment ago, of North Carolina. He's on the House Committee on Education and the Workforce, and he joins us now from Charlotte. Congressman, thank you for your time. You know, I understand the efficiency argument and also giving the role to the states and to parents who directly are wanting to invest in their kids. In a state like North Carolina, I'm more concerned or interested in the logistics of that. Is North Carolina prepared, equipped? What is the plan if this falls solely on your shoulders?
Well, I think what's happening right now, Marni, and first of all, thank you so much for having me to be with you this morning. But I think what you're seeing is really the fulfillment of exactly what President Trump was setting out to do. I think we've seen him consistently ever since he took the oath of office on January 20th, move into a mode that is really trying to clean up what has been happening in Washington and get the power back to the states and back to the local communities. So I do think that it's going to be an opportunity that we're seeing just the first steps of this. Obviously, the Department of Education has been just one of a number of different departments that are seeing cuts in the federal workforce. But I think, you know, I was watching and saw Secretary McMahon's statements a few moments ago, and I think she's exactly right. I think taking the bureaucracy out of Washington's piece of it, and at least through block grants or those kind of things that we can put in place to get the resources back to the states and then to the local communities is ultimately going to be the goal. We're going to find the things that are very important and the things that are working, and make sure that those are available. I don't think anybody is wanting to gut the services. I don't think anybody's wanting to gut the teachers or any of that. I think we are really wanting to just make things more efficient. And listen, we believe for a long time as conservatives that the closer that governance gets to home, the more effective it is. And that's what I think you're beginning to see unfold here.
What do you believe is the best plan to address schools that are underperforming in your state? I mean, we've got the data on districts that do well publicly and those who don't. How do you think that would be best addressed?
Well, I think that's going to be, again, up to the state legislatures. I think that working in tandem with their state departments of education and their local school boards are going to look at some of these issues we've got. I mean, even on Department of Education's numbers since COVID have been absolutely staggering, that we're failing in math scores. We're having record low scores in reading. We're having issues in civics, all the subject matters. We're just at a real crossroads, if you will. And I think part of what the American people voted for in November of 24 was exactly what President Trump said he was going to do. The only difference this time is that we've talked about doing this for a long time, and now he's actually getting it done. And I think that's the important point to be made here.
One of the layers of this conversation, Congressman, is school choice. What are you hearing from parents where you live about school choice and vouchers and how that opportunity is available to all who want it?
Well, we're seeing that be growing in a tremendous way here in North Carolina. In fact, our legislature not only approved opportunity scholarships earlier, but then had to go back because the number of requests for students and families to be able to have that opportunity scholarship, they had to up the resources that they were going to put toward it. So the parents, the grassroots of North Carolina are very, very much in favor, from what we can see, in school choice and parents having that say. We've seen a rise in the desire for charter schools as well as other alternatives. And again, the opportunity scholarships are being utilized. There doesn't seem to be any leftover when families are given that opportunity to make the choice about how their children are going to be educated.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.